Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Ashwarya with you. All of the big stories from India and across the world coming up in the next 30 minutes. Let us start with the headlines. Government achieved exceptional results through clear policy and right intentions, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Reiterates the decision on Jammu and Kashmir inspired by nationalism, not politics. President Nath to address the nation on eve of 73rd Independence Day. Special telecast on Rajya Sabha TV at 7 p.m. Restrictions will be eased in a phased manner after 15th of August, assures J&K government. Governor Satyapal Malik instructs all sarpanchs to host national flag in panchayats. Jammu University to open from today. Chandrayaan-2 successfully leaves Earth's orbit, enters the lunar trajectory to reach Moon's orbit on 20th of August. India's second moon mission on schedule, informs ISRO. And India to take on West Indies in third one-day international in Port of Spain. Opener Rohit Sharma looks to surpass Yuvraj Singh's record of Indian batsmen with most runs in ODI cricket. Match scheduled to begin at 7 p.m. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that his government has been able to achieve major milestone in a short span of a second term because of its clear policy and right intentions. Prime Minister Modi-led NDA government has completed 75 days in office since coming to power for the second time. In an exclusive interview to a news agency, INS, Modi said that the government has set an unprecedented pace within just a few days as a result of clear policy and right intentions. Prime Minister said from children's safety to Chandrayaan-2, the government has shown what it can achieve with a strong mandate of the people. He reiterated that Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh will be developed as per the aspirations and ambitions of the local people. He further said that decision on Jammu and Kashmir inspired by nationalism and not politics. Prime Minister Modi said that the government has taken a head start in tackling the most pressing issues of our times with the formation of Jal Shakti Ministry. Prime Minister also said that the NMC bill is a far-reaching reform in the medical field and it seeks to correct the prevalent problems. The Prime Minister also said that the first session of the 17th Lok Sabha has been a record-creating one. It was the most productive session since 1952. And President Nath will address the nation today on the eve of the 73rd Independence Day. The address will be broadcast from 7 p.m. onwards on the entire national network of All India Radio and telecast over all channels of Doordarshan in Hindi, followed by the English version. Broadcast of the address in Hindi and English on Doordarshan will be followed by broadcast in regional languages by regional channels of Doordarshan. You can also watch the live telecast of President Govinds' address on Rajya Sabha TV. Meanwhile, a full dress rehearsal was held at the historic Red Fort in the national capital on Thursday for the 73rd Independence Day celebrations. The Army, the Navy and the Air Force contingents marched across the Red Fort while school children performed for dignitaries and audience present for the rehearsal. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hoist the tricolour at the Red Fort on Thursday, the Independence Day, after which he will deliver a speech to the nation. An Information and Broadcasting Minister, Prakash Javadekar, has released a patriotic song, Vatan, in New Delhi in the run-up to the Independence Day. The special song has been produced by Doordarshan. The song pays a tribute to New India, It highlights several path-breaking initiatives of the government, including the determination and vision behind the recent successful launch of Chandrayaan-2. The song also pays tribute to the bravery and valor of our armed forces and the martyrs of our country. The song has been sung by famous Bollywood singer Javed Ali. It has been penned by lyricist Alok Srivastava and music has been composed by Dushyant.
होठों पे तेरे प्यार के नगमे खिलाएंगे तू देखना वतन तुझे कैसा सजाएंगे तू देखना वतन तुझे कैसा
देशभक्ति का जज्बा लोगों में है और एक नए उत्साह उमंग के साथ इस साल का ये स्वतंत्रता दिन लोग मनाएंगे और इसमें जावेद अली ने गाया हुआ ये गाना भी निश्चित रूप से लोगों को पसंद आएगा, मुझे पूरा विश्वास है और इसलिए आज ये गाने को रिलीज करते समय मुझे बहुत हर्ष हो रहा है।
A special event was organized by the INA Trust at the Constitutional Club on Tuesday to commemorate Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, who played an important role towards independence movement. The theme of the event was Netaji as youth icon and champion of gender equality. Tourism and Culture Minister Prahlad Singh Patel and Prasar Bharati Chairman A. Surya Prakash attended the event. Addressing the event, Culture Minister said that Netaji has always inspired everyone, including the young generation, to serve the country. Prasar Bharati Chairman A. Surya Prakash said that after independence, today's India is stronger than before. He called the abrogation of Article 370 from Jammu and Kashmir a wonderful gift on Independence Day.
And our respect to our minister who is spared.
भगवान श्री कृष्ण के कहने पर अर्जुन ने युद्ध किया था, वो ताकत शायद नेताजी के पास थी। उस समय जिसको भी उन्होंने कहा वो युद्ध में इस देश की आज़ादी के लिए लड़ने के लिए तत्पर हो गया। आदमी सुविधाएं मांगता है, उन्होंने खून मांगा और नौजवान खड़ा हो गया। मुझे अपने जीवन में आज मैं उनका स्मरण कर अपने आप को गौरवान्वित महसूस करता हूँ।
And this is a momentous occasion in the life of this nation. And all of us across the country on 5th August, when that resolution was moved in the Rajya Sabha, there were people who had tears in their eyes. There are two generations, sir, of Indians post-independence who have seen those days and who were looking forward to this day when Article 370 would be repealed. With so much planning and precision, the government has executed this, and that is truly remarkable. And I think we are really fortunate to be living in these times. And we look forward to the emergence of this nation and its rise to greater heights.
Giving a new ambience and aesthetics to Parliament, permanent colourful lights have been installed on its exterior ahead of the 73rd Independence Day celebrations. To enhance the Parliament building's grandeur, a special system of LED lights which will change colour has been installed on its facade, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated it on Tuesday. On to Samadhi News now. Jammu and Kashmir government on Tuesday said that the restrictions are being eased out in a phased manner in the Kashmir Valley, adding that the situation in the Jammu division is completely normal. Classes in the University of Jammu will resume from today. Remember, the university was closed since the security clampdown last Monday. All undergraduate and post-graduation examinations were also postponed. Government spokesperson Rohit Kansal told a press conference that the restrictions are being eased after assessment by the concerned local authorities in a phased manner in Kashmir. He added that the medical services of all kinds are continuing normally and unhindered.
And successful conclusion of Eid prayers, prohibitory conditions were further relaxed in various parts. As we speak, the Jammu region is almost entirely free of restrictions. Restrictions, however, do continue in parts of Kashmir based on local assessment. As I mentioned, the overall policy continues to be relaxations and easing out. Routine OPDs, admissions and surgical procedures continue to be carried out. Medicines, both normal and emergency and life-saving drugs, are available in adequate supply. We have had movement of 100 heavy vehicles, including trucks with supplies, oil tankers, gas tankers, LPG trucks. Similarly, we have had movement of 14 to 1500 LMVs as well as buses. Flight operations continue to be normal. As we speak, dress rehearsals for the forthcoming Independence Day are being carried out in all districts of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh.
And the full dress rehearsal for the Independence Day celebrations went off peacefully in Srinagar on Tuesday. Several batches of Jammu and Kashmir police personnel, paramilitary forces and other participants took part in the rehearsal at the Sher-e-Kashmir Stadium.
15 अगस्त की तैयारी जो है हमारी वो बराबर इस वक्त चल रही है, आपने देखा है उसको, और 15 अगस्त का फंक्शन भी हम लोग ये समझते हैं कि बहुत अच्छे से निकलेगा। उसकी तैयारियां अभी सब जिलों में चल रही हैं और अभी जो श्रीनगर में 15 अगस्त का फंक्शन होने वाला उसका नमूना आपने अभी देखा है।
हमारा सबका फर्ज है, देखिए जहाँ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन और पुलिस है हम सब जाते हैं और हमारी यही अंतक कोशिश है कि लोग खुशहाल रहें, खुशी रहे, हर तरह से हम उनको ताउन दे रहे हैं और खुश रहें। जितना भी हमसे हो सकता है, आपने देखा होगा एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से चाहे किसी भी तरीके से लोगों तक पहुंचना है, हम पूरा पहुंचे हैं और आगे भी हम ऐसे ही रहेंगे। सिर्फ मेरा पैगाम यह है, जैसे डीजी साहब ने फरमाया कि लोगों से हमारी यही दरख्वास्त है कि वो खुशहाली से रहें, अमन अमान से रहें और एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का पूरा साथ दें।
Meanwhile, a social media platform Twitter India suspended 4 Twitter handles for allegedly spreading anti-India propaganda on Jammu and Kashmir. The centre had asked the Twitter to suspend 8 accounts for allegedly spreading anti-India propaganda. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court on Tuesday refused to pass any immediate order to the centre on lifting restrictions imposed after the abrogation of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir. Hearing a PIL on the issue, the apex court said that it will wait for normalcy to return and take up the matter after 2 weeks. And Jammu and Kashmir Governor Satyapal Malik has asked all the deputy commissioners to direct sarpanches to hoist the national flag in their respective panchayats on Independence Day. In a meeting held at Raj Bhavan on Tuesday, Malik reviewed the status of the prevailing security, law and order, and the provision of basic and essential services to people in the state. The governor was apprised of the full dress rehearsal for the Independence Day that had been done in every district of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, and that necessary arrangements have been put in place for the smooth conduct of the celebrations.
With this social media becoming a very new normal in our lives, and such videos, such photographs become quite surplus and very prolific, and people are being educated, and I've been very thankful to media that they have supported me, the very responsible media, in bringing such fake news or the news which can create strong undercurrents of discontentment, and we are educating people also.
And Jammu and Kashmir government will host a 3-day Global Investors Summit from 12th of October in Srinagar. This was stated by Jammu and Kashmir Principal Secretary of Industries Naveen Chaudhary while addressing a press conference in Jammu on Tuesday. He said that the first ever summit will provide Jammu and Kashmir an opportunity to showcase its strengths, strategies and potential. And our correspondent Vishal Dahiya spoke to Prasar Bharati Chairman A. Surya Prakash on the abrogation of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir. Let's take a listen.
An recent article which you have written, that clearly mentions how the situation, years ago in 1960s was very different for some of these political parties. So could you explain a little further?
Yeah, actually, from the 1950s onwards, you see, soon after independence, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel had the responsibility to integrate all these princely states. There were 564 states. So he cajoled, bamboozled, you call it what, and he got all of them to become part of the Indian Union. And that included the state of Jammu and Kashmir. A lot of negotiations went on with many states. So that is why that whole integration process was remarkably carried out by Sardar Patel.
How do you see the implications, the effects of this step vis-a-vis the integration parts?
Wherever I travel in India, I meet Kashmiri youth studying in universities. Wherever I go in India, I see Kashmiri youth who are well qualified in the best of Indian corporations and companies. I have seen Kashmiri businessmen doing business in Hampi, which is that great archaeological site in Karnataka. Belur, Halebid. You go anywhere, go to any tourist destination in India, you will see Kashmiri businessmen. So this is what is open to them, available to the Kashmiri youth and every resident and citizen of India who resides in Kashmir. This is what is available to him, just as this is what is available to all of us. But because of 370, none of us could go to Kashmir to do business or to study or to settle down or whatever. There is no restriction on any Kashmiri settling down in Karnataka, Maharashtra, Punjab or wherever. So this anomaly, I think, had to be removed, also because it is very critical to the whole idea of integration of India.
Okay, last question before we bring this to an end is about how the situation is since last few days, a week or so, in the state specifically, and how it is being projected by certain sections. So how do you look at that?
When we talk of state of Jammu and Kashmir, that state which prevailed before abrogation of 370, constantly everyone's mind is on what is happening in the valley, what does the valley think of it. I think that is wrong. There are people living in Ladakh, there are people living in Jammu. Look at the geography. 85% of the geography, you are not taking that into account. I think we need to correct that. I think people of India need to understand this. And then slowly the integration process will happen. As regards international media, referring to the state of Jammu and Kashmir as Indian administered Kashmir is absolutely ridiculous. The state of Jammu and Kashmir is like the state of Mysore, Travancore, Bhopal, what have you. These are all states which integrated into the Indian Union over that period of time after we got independence. 564 states. It is one of those states. So we'll imagine an international media describing Maharashtra as Indian administered Maharashtra.
Very much an integral part of India, as Maharashtra or as Travancore or as Mysore.
And we as citizens of India, as a citizen of India, I feel very offended when somebody refers to a state in my country as an Indian administered state. Absolutely ridiculous. We must challenge that. We must change this narrative. We should not accept it.
With camera person Prashant Karmakar, this is Vishal Dahiya for Rajya Sabha Television in Delhi.
On to some other news, the Union Cabinet paid tribute to former Union Minister Sushma Swaraj on Tuesday, who passed away last week at All India Institute of Medical Sciences following a cardiac arrest. The Cabinet adopted a resolution which said that Sushma Swaraj will always be remembered for her exceptional oratorical skills and compassionate approach. The Cabinet described her as an affable person with a humane touch who won the hearts of all by helping Indians in distress abroad. In her passing away, the country has lost a distinguished leader and an outstanding parliamentarian, said the Cabinet resolution. Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Hardeep Singh Puri launched Swachh Sarvekshan League 2020 in New Delhi on Tuesday. He said that the Swachh Bharat Mission has become a people's movement through active participation by the public. And the 5th edition of the annual cleanliness survey will be conducted in January next year.
That process will culminate, and I say with a great deal of satisfaction, in a successful manner on 2nd October 2019, when we celebrate the 150th birth anniversary of the Mahatma. The Prime Minister had said when he launched the scheme that a fitting tribute to the father of the nation would be if we can achieve Swachhata in terms of the parameters that he had outlined. And these were, number one, to make India open defecation free by 2nd October 2019, and two, to have solid scientific waste management throughout the country.
23 days after being launched, India's second moon mission, Chandrayaan-2, left the Earth's orbit early today. ISRO said that it has carried out a maneuver called translunar insertion at 2:21 a.m., following which the spacecraft has successfully entered the lunar transfer trajectory. The Chandrayaan-2 is expected to reach the moon's orbit on 20th of August and land on the lunar surface on 7th of September. On 7th of September, the spacecraft's lander, Vikram, is expected to soft land on the south pole of the moon and unleash the rover to explore the surface. Since its launch by GSLV Mark II M1 vehicle, all the systems on board the Chandrayaan-2 spacecraft are performing normal. Retail inflation eased marginally in July to 3.15% over the previous month. The ease in the consumer price index-based retail inflation came on the back of a softening fuel and light prices. Even as inflation in the overall food basket moved up. Retail inflation was at 3.18% in June 2019, while it stood at 4.17% in July last year. As per the data released by the Central Statistics Office, the inflation in the food basket was 2.36% in July, marginally up from 2.25% in June. The rate of price rise in vegetables softened to 2.82% during July, as against the rise of 4.66% in the month of June. And the prices of pulses and products went up to 6.82% from 5.68%. And in fuel and light category, deflation was witnessed, minus 0.36% as against the rise of 2.32% in the month of June. Let's now get you an update on the monsoon situation in the entire country. The death toll in the flood-affected states has mounted to 225, with 91 perishing since 8th of August in Kerala, where more rain has been forecast by the weather department. Besides Kerala, 54 people have died in Karnataka, 49 in Maharashtra, and 31 in Gujarat in floods and related incidents. In Kerala, a red alert has been issued for Malappuram and Kozhikode as extremely heavy rains are expected in central areas of the state. However, the flood-hit northern parts are limping back to normalcy. Meanwhile, weather in deluge-hit Karnataka and Maharashtra has improved, allowing the authorities to speed up rescue and relief operations. The rescue operations in Maharashtra's flood-hit Kolhapur and Sangli districts are over, with officials saying that waters are receding and the focus is now more on providing essential supplies to the affected people. And the Met Department has predicted heavy to very heavy rainfall at isolated places in hilly areas in Pune, Kolhapur and Satara districts of the state today. And the situation in Karnataka's flood and heavy rain affected districts has also improved, and inflows in reservoirs are also steadily decreasing. And talking about other states, due to incessant rains in Odisha, train services have been affected in western parts of the state. Odisha, which is being battered by heavy showers since last week on Tuesday, saw a flood-like situation in parts of the state, and the forecast is of more rains in the next 2 days. District administrations have been asked to be prepared to deal with possible floods. Meanwhile, the Met Department in Himachal Pradesh has issued a yellow alert for Friday on Saturday in the state, which has reported heavy rainfall in several areas. Sports news now, news from the cricket, and the third and final one-day international match between India and the West Indies will be played today at the Port of Spain. The match is scheduled to begin at 7 p.m. Opener Rohit Sharma is on the verge of reaching the 7th spot on the list of Indian batsmen with the most runs in ODI cricket. Rohit Sharma needs 26 runs to go past World Cup winning all-rounder Yuvraj Singh on the ODI batting charts. Remember, Yuvraj had gotten to 8,701 runs in 304 ODI matches. And that is the wrap on this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead.